In a wide, sun-drenched meadow, where the grass grew thick and green, lived 3 magnificent oxen. One was as white as fresh snow, another as black as a moonless night, and the third a rich, earthy brown. They weren't just neighbors, they were brothers in spirit. From sunrise to sunset, they grazed side by side, their powerful bodies a reassuring presence to one another. When one moved, they all moved. When one rested, they all rested. They shared the same patches of sweet clover and drank from the same cool stream. Their bond was a beautiful sight, a testament to true friendship. They knew, deep in their bones, that their greatest strength wasn't just their sharp horns or their muscular frames, but their unbreakable unity. Any creature that saw them together saw not 3 separate animals, but a single formidable force. Hidden in the shadows of the ancient trees that bordered the meadow, a pair of cunning golden eyes watched. A great lion, his belly rumbling with a persistent hunger, had been observing the oxen for days. Every time he saw their combined might, his hunter's instinct told him to be cautious. He was the king of this domain, feared by all, yet the sight of those 3 together gave him pause. He could imagine the taste of a fine meal, but he could also imagine the pain of 3 sets of horns aimed squarely at him. Attacking them as a group would be foolish, a risk he was not willing to take. Frustration gnawed at him. "How can I get to them?" he muttered to himself, his tail twitching impatiently. "They are strong, but I am clever. There must be a way. Their strength is their unity, so their weakness must be in division." A patient, sinister plan began to form in his cunning mind. He would not use brute force. He would use his wit. The lion decided his first weapon would be whispers. He waited until the black ox had wandered a few paces away, chasing a particularly tempting patch of dandelions. The lion crept through the tall grass, his movements silent as a shadow, and stopped just within earshot. In a voice that sounded like a concerned friend, he spoke, "Oh, noble black ox, I have been watching you, and it truly saddens me. Your strength is magnificent, far greater than that of your companions. Why do you share this plentiful meadow? The white ox and the brown ox, they eat the best grass, the sweetest clover, leaving you with the leftovers. You deserve to have this entire field to yourself. You are the strongest, after all." The black ox paused his chewing, the words seeping into his mind like a slow poison. He looked over at his friends, and for the first time he saw them not as brothers, but as rivals. The seed of doubt was planted. The next day, the lion found the white ox drinking alone at the stream. He approached with the same feigned sincerity. "Wise white ox," he began, his voice smooth as honey, "your fairness is known throughout these lands. But are your friends truly fair to you? I saw the black ox whispering with the brown ox yesterday. They were looking at you strangely. I heard them say that your white coat makes you too visible to predators, putting them all in danger. They think you are a liability. They plot to drive you away so they can have more for themselves. The white ox looked up, his heart suddenly cold with suspicion. He remembered seeing his friends talking, and now the lion's words twisted the memory into something sinister. The trust that had bound them began to fray. Finally, the lion sought out the brown ox, who was resting under the shade of a large oak tree. Powerful brown ox. The lion said with a heavy sigh, "I come to you as a friend. I overheard a terrible conversation. The white ox and the black ox believe you are the weakest of the three. They say you slow them down. They mock your steady nature and call it laziness. They are planning to leave you behind the next time danger appears, using you as a distraction to save themselves." The brown ox's gentle eyes hardened. He had always been the calmest, the most patient, but these words lit a fire of anger and betrayal within him. The beautiful tapestry of their friendship was now unraveling, thread by poisonous thread. The whispers did their wicked work. Suspicion grew between the three oxen like a thorny vine. The black ox started to graze on the far side of the meadow, claiming the territory as his own, believing he was asserting his rightful dominance. The white ox kept to the edges of the stream, casting mistrustful glances at the others, convinced they were plotting against him. The brown ox isolated himself near the forest, feeling resentful and determined to prove he needed no one. The once harmonious meadow was now a place of silent, angry division. They no longer moved as one. They no longer shared their meals or their shade. They were three separate, lonely figures in a field that suddenly felt vast and empty. The strength they had in their unity was gone, replaced by suspicion and pride. They were alone, and they were vulnerable. The lion watched from his hiding place, a cruel smile spreading across his face. His plan had worked perfectly. He saw the black ox grazing alone, far from any help. His moment had come. With a low growl, the lion burst from the cover of the trees. His powerful muscles bunched and released as he covered the ground in a terrifying blur of speed. The black ox looked up, his eyes wide with shock and fear, but it was too late. He had no time to brace himself, no time to call for his brothers. The lion pounced, his claws and teeth finding their mark. It was a swift and brutal attack. From across the field, the white and brown oxen heard the struggle. They looked on in horror, frozen by fear and their newfound distance. They could only watch as their former friend was overcome. They were safe for now, but a terrible realization dawned on them a few days later. Filled with a false sense of security, the white ox grazed near the forest's edge, still keeping his distance from the brown ox. But the lion, his hunger renewed, had not forgotten him. Repeating his deadly tactic, the lion launched another surprise attack. The white ox, isolated and alone, met the same tragic fate as his brother. Now only the brown ox remained. The vast green meadow, once a symbol of peace and togetherness, now felt like a prison. He was utterly alone. The silence was deafening, broken only by the whisper of the wind, which now seemed to mock him, carrying the echoes of the lion's lies. Every shadow seemed to hold a threat. Every rustle of leaves sent a jolt of terror through him. The full weight of his folly crashed down upon the brown ox. He finally understood the lion's cunning game. It was never about who was strongest or weakest, fairest or bravest. It was about breaking their bond. The lion had defeated them not with his strength, but with his words. He had turned them against each other, and in their division, they had become easy prey. The brown ox looked across the empty field, his heart heavy with regret and sorrow for his fallen brothers. He knew his time was short. The lion would come for him next, and there would be no one to stand with him, no one to help. His strength was meaningless now that he was alone. As the sun began to set, casting long, menacing shadows across the field, the lion emerged from the trees, walking slowly, confidently. There was no need to rush. The brown ox stood his ground, not out of hope, but out of a final, desperate sense of defiance. As the lion prepared to charge, the ox spoke, his voice filled with sadness. "You are right about one thing, lion. We should not have listened to your whispers. Our unity was our fortress, and we allowed you to tear it down from the inside, brick by brick." The lion simply smiled. Indeed, he rumbled. "United you stood, a mountain I could not move. Divided you fall, one by one." This story is a powerful reminder that our greatest strength often lies in our ability to stand together. When we allow division, suspicion, and jealousy to break our bonds, we become vulnerable. But when we stand united in trust and support, we are stronger than any challenge we may face. Thank you so much for joining me for this story. I hope it gave you something to think about. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more fables and tales. Hit that notification bell so you never miss a new story. Stay united, stay strong, and I'll see you in the next video.